Any entrepreneur who tells you that they have never browsed a job site looking at positions when times are tough is lying to you. Now, some of us have done it for 5 minutes before we pull ourselves up and get our senses straight. Others spend days or weeks looking at jobs when times are tough. But this leads to the question is, as an ENFP, a group that tends, we like freedom, we like independence, we don't enjoy being a boss, and we don't enjoy being bossed around, does it make sense to maybe be an employee rather than be an entrepreneur? Are there plus sides to this, and what could those be? Well, that's the topic we're going to cover right here in this video. So I've thought about this a lot because being an entrepreneur, I've worked for myself for a decade pretty much. I think a decade actually. There's ups and downs, right? There's struggles with it. And I made other videos about this. I have a video, should ENFPs work for themselves, link, and talked about some of the ups and downs of working for yourself. What are some of the pros of being an employee? The first thing that comes to mind is you're going to have some structure. And one thing I've found over the years is that no structure is not freedom. In order to have freedom, you need to sort of know your playground, and then you're free to play within it, right? If you just have no structure at all, you don't have any plan, any routine, it's actually more constricting than having some structure. I found this as an entrepreneur who has, no boss, no restrictions. The more structure I give myself, the generally happier I am, the more I get done, and actually the more free I feel because my mind space is freed up and I'm making more money and I feel better and everything else, right? So a job will provide structure. Now, a job, at $10 an hour, working somewhere you really dislike and just working with horrible people is probably not the right kind of structure you want. But here, when I'm talking about being an employee, I mean like a good job where you like your coworkers and you're inspired and it's a good company and all that sort of thing, right? Which is a different situation than a job just to get by rather than a job where you really want to thrive in. The next positive thing about being an employee as an ENFP could be about the team and the people. Now, again, getting that kind of job where it's a great, inspiring team is sort of few and far between. But I imagine, if you found one, that being around a group of people day in and day out where they were, you were bouncing things back and forth, you were brainstorming, you were really inspiring each other, that would really work well with the ENFP type. And it is something, like when I started out as an entrepreneur, it is something that I missed until I was able to sort of build up a team and a peer group of other entrepreneurs and things like that and add that into my business. On the note of good people and inspiring people, I need to do a little promo here and invite you to join me. We have a couple events coming up for all you awesome ENFP YouTube fans. One happening in Mexico, hopefully still happening if you haven't watched this after the event. It's happening at the end of April 2018, depending on when you watch this. And we're having an event in Prague in August 2018 as well. And if you're watching this in 2019, there's probably more events happening. So I'll share a link with that. It'll pop up here and you can check out those events if you want to meet other inspiring, awesome people. Another great part about working with people is receiving praise. We all want to be told we're doing good. We all need some level of reassurance. I remember after I had my own company and this one had failed and I became part of a startup with a group of other guys, and when they were giving me praise, like, hey Dan, this marketing work is awesome. I was like, oh my God, I haven't had that in years. Like, it feels so nice to get praise and to be told positive things about yourself and all that. As well as, especially when you're younger, being able to work under a great leader can be something really positive, a good way to learn. And so, there's people who will say, come out of school and start your own business and never get a job. And that is right for a lot of people. But there's also is an upside to working for a great leader, someone where you can learn from, and there's some mentorship and all that kind of thing. And learning how to follow first, and then learning how to be a leader and, start your own thing if that's what you want to do. So this last one here kind of ties in with structure. It's about consistency. So if you're an ENFP, we're interesting in how our energy can go, right? We can be the most passionate, on fire person ever for a week, and then we need some time off and we're super disorganized or we change our mind and then we get super fired up. And that is a really valuable way to be within like an organization, if the organization respects that, right? And so you have people who are really good at consistency and keeping things up, and you have people like ENFPs who are initiators, who make things happen, who bring this like impulsive, impatient, like let's get it done kind of energy. That can work really well in a good team dynamic. Sometimes it's tough when you're starting out. I'm going to do other videos for those of you who are entrepreneurs or want to be, about building a team or finding the right partner as an ENFP, like what that dynamic should be that works really well. But when you're starting out, if you don't have a partner and you don't have any employees yet, then you're going to be in a position where you're the company. And so if you struggle with really being consistent, that can be tough. Now, there's lots of ways to work around that. I talk about that in some of my life design stuff, like if you're a project-based person versus a consistency-based person. I have a video about that. I'll link about personality type, something. If you are that way, you can build your business around it, but it can still create issues. So having that team dynamic is valuable there, where you might be able to actually feel more free and feel more creative because you have other people to do like the admin and the consistent kind of follow-up work and all that sort of stuff. Now, with all that said, personally for me, I would go about it my own way. That's what I've chosen, and that's what I would always do. Even in the toughest times, I don't think I've browsed job sites for more than 5 minutes before sort of, slapping myself upside the head about it. For me, I find it's really important to have like a bigger purpose. And there are some great companies, and I've encouraged some ENFP clients of mine who've wanted to get into really interesting things like aerospace or that, to go work for a great mentor and learn, right? Because you're not going to start an aerospace company. Well, you might, but probably not out of like your apartment, right? So there are times when it really makes sense and you can find a company with a big purpose, but my opinion, and maybe I'm sort of pessimistic here, is that a lot of companies are just so profit driven and not really purpose driven. They might say they are in their marketing, but they're not really purpose driven and in terms of like making an impact. And so for me, that and the ability to like go to Mexico next month for a month and go to New York next week and live wherever I want and travel the world also plays into why I have chosen and will continue to choose to be an entrepreneur. But I did want to share this other perspective here about it and let you make that choice for yourself. Thank you for watching. I would love to see you at one of these events coming up soon. If you're not already a member of the channel, do subscribe here. It would be great to catch you on some other videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.